All right.
That's what I did.
7 o'clock. Guys, welcome. It's July 26, 2016, 7 p.m. Bardstown City Council. Let's get to this. Recognize number one, groups of individuals who want to speak. All right. Number two, receive input from the public. Very good. Bids, contracts, we have none. Number four, HRB, DRB, and planning zoning recommendations. We've got 12 of those. Go ahead, Ms. Barbie.
Just if you'll make note that COA 1655 and COA 1661 were both tabled, and so I'll read all recommendations but those. 1645, Anthony Torres, applicant owner, proposes to alter the landscaping at 305 South 5th Street. Recommendation, approval of the new landscape design. COA 1651, Rob Smotherman, applicant owner, proposes to change the exterior paint color at 97 West Flagey. Recommendation, approval of the paint colors for the exterior of the building. The trim and windows will be a light cream color. The door will be painted black, and some of the trim will be a muted light green. COA 1652, Jamie Sizemore, applicant, Landmark Community Newspaper, LLC, owner, proposed to remove the concrete driveway, repave the parking, and stripe the parking lot at 110 West Stephen Foster Avenue. Recommendation, approval to remove the concrete in the parking area, repave lot with asphalt, and stripe the parking lot spaces. COA 1653, John and Lucy Bradford, applicants owners, proposed to change the trim color and window color at 110 East Broadway Street. Recommendation, approval of the colors on both the trim of the house and the windows. COA 1654, Lewis and Paulette Carity, applicant owners, propose to replace their basement windows at 512 North 3rd Street. Recommendation, approval to replace the basement windows with the ones proposed in the application. Amended COA 1656, Clear Properties LLC, applicant owners, propose to alter the landscaping at 511, 511 and a half, and 513 North 3rd Street. Amendment, the applicant shall inform the preservation coordinator what tree will be replacing the arboretum tree. Recommendation, approval of the landscape plan with the proposed amendment. Amended COA 1657, Evan Klelsveen, applicant owner, proposed to remove trees and change the walkway to the brick at 216 West Flagey Street. Amendment, the pavers will be English Edge Cocoa or English Edge Autumn in the tumblered pavers, and the applicant would report which one is used to the preservation coordinator. Recommendation, approval of the landscape alterations and the removal of the trees with the proposed amendments. Amended COA 1658, Tisha Davis, applicant, Lewis Davis, owner, proposed to paint the door and add a sign at 105B East Flagey Street. Amendment, the front door will be painted antique red. Recommendation, approval of the paint color and installation of the sign with proposed amendments. Amended COA 1660, Tony Carey, applicant, Bardstown Eye Care owner, proposed new signage at 311 North 3rd Street. Amendment, a sample of the green, blue, and gold colors of the sign will be presented to the preservation coordinator that will remain in the file. Recommendation, approval of the installation of the signs with the proposed amendments. Amended COA 1662, Don Parrish, applicant, Parrish Family Enterprises LLC owner, proposed to replace the awning at 129 North 3rd Street. Amendment, the awnings will be one of the two fabric awnings from the Thumbrella manufacturer that was presented on the application, and the applicant will let the preservation coordinator know which awning that he chooses to be placed in front of the building. Recommendation, approval of the awning with proposed amendments.
Did you say?
Which two were withdrawn?
Table 55 and 61.
You read off of 1662.
Yes. Is that not on here?
That's not on.
I apologize, gentlemen. It was on the recommendations, and you all did not have the actual.
It's not in the minutes.
It's not in the minutes?
It's not on the recommendations either.
It's not on your recommendations?
No.
Okay. I apologize. I was on having surgery on that day. Okay, it's on the second one. And the minutes that were,
Yeah, there's no 62.
and there's no 62 in the minutes.
You talking about the Don Parrish?
Right.
1660, that's on my minutes. Don Parrish, amended COA 1662, Don Parrish applicant and owner.
I do not have it also.
Here it is, it's on the second page of the
Yes.
minutes.
Yeah, I have it, you gotta keep scrolling on up there. I think you should get
But
to it.
the issue is I don't think you all have seen the actual application because it was not posted. So my apologies. I'll have to let the preservation coordinator know that it'll have to be put on the agenda for 8-9
Okay, so we're gonna skip 55, 61,
and 62.
and 62. Okay.
It's not on my minutes, anyway.
Well, it's on,
Yeah.
okay. We'll-
It's out of order.
It's out of order. Yeah.
Well, that being the case, I'll make the motion that we accept the recommendations of the HRB COA 1645, 1651, 1652, 1653, 1654, 1656, 1657, 1658, 1659, and 1660. And yield the floor for a second.
A second.
Got a first by Fred, second by Council. Discussion? Okay.
Just a question.
Go ahead.
Did you say 1661?
No. he-
No,
No.
55, 61, 62 are tabled. 62 or 61, 62 is tabled because not everybody has it.
Second.
We got a
You
second.
got a
I
second?
apologize.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Those opposed? Correspondence, a donation request by the Nelson County Grief Support Suicide Survivors. Councilman Bugman?
It's been passed to the next meeting. Ms. Tung's waiting for approval of her 501c3 application. Has it been tabled?
No, that was just.
Yes, it's going to be tabled to the next,
Okay.
until she gets her approval for an application.
Okay, the Nelson County Grief Support and Suicide Survivors Group will be tabled until the next, until she gets her faculties in order. Let's go to a review of the minutes, the city council minutes. If everybody's read that, if I can, I'll approve those by unanimous consent, please.
Did you indicate that was your special council meeting minutes as well, sir?
I didn't, but can I group them together?
Yes, sir.
All right, so there's city council meeting minutes and the special council meeting minutes. And if that's okay, I'll approve those by unanimous consent. Thank you. Let's go to the BNC Human Rights Commission, the proposed budget. You guys got to look at that. Is there any questions? It's nothing, like we always give 1,500, the county gives 1,500, total of 3,000. And of course, everybody knows they have changed in operations, and they give a full account of what all the expenditures are. So if you look at that down at the bottom.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the proposed budget from the
Second by Bobby.
the Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
Wait for the motion for, could you repeat it, Fred?
Yes, I make a motion to approve the proposed 2016-17 budget for the Bardstown Nelson County Human Rights Commission.
Thank you, sir.
Second by Councilman Simpson.
Thank you.
All right, discussion? All in favor? Those opposed? Thank you. Motion's adopted. Ordinances, there's no first readings, there's a second reading of B 2016-08, planning and zoning recommendation amendments.
And we were able to secure a summary through the city attorney, so I'll read that instead of the full ordinance. Summary of Ordinance B 2016-08. This ordinance amends the zoning regulations for Section 6.1C7 to allow distilled spirit storage as conditional use on tracts between 20 and 100 acres in size in A1 zoning, and amends Section 6.15E to incorporate open space and setback allowances as previously allowed in B5 zoning under previous regulations and inadvertently omitted during reformatting. This ordinance or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed to the extent of such conflict. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect following publication and summary as required by law. This summary was certified by Timothy Butler, City Attorney.
Mayor, if I'm in order, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number B 2016-08. And I'll yield the floor for a second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Copeland. Discussion?
Another question.
Go ahead.
I just think it's, I understand what's going on as far as the planning commission putting this before us to make the decision. So I understand the process, but I think we need to back away from this. I don't think it's appropriate. In the city, there's three pieces of land that I know of, and maybe more, that would be appropriate, would meet this 20 to 100 acres. And I really think as far as land use, we need to use the land in the city for, it's just good planning for housing and businesses and so forth. A warehouse takes up so much space, and it drives future growth out rather than having future growth in to serve our resources, our infrastructure, so forth and so on. So I just think it's just not appropriate to have a warehouse. It's not appropriate to use that land for a warehouse rather than what it could eventually be used for, which is more appropriate to an urban setting.
Councilman Butler?
I concur with Fred on that, and more so, I'd like to see a no vote to hopefully send a message to our county magistrates that we're seeing a lot more small distilleries, and they're encroaching right upon the city limits, and with that comes a lot more warehouses, and with the warehouses, you've got more of the sugar mold. I think in long term, it's going to be detrimental to our economy and our well-being of the city with all these warehouses coming in right upon our growth. Even though we don't have the amount of property that it really affects, like Larry told me, he said there's not a lot of, but there's enough that I think we need to stay away from it, and hopefully the magistrates will see our side as cities, citizens and residents of the county that would hopefully keep them off our boundaries.
Well, one concern, and I know it says that it has to keep the distances and everything from subdivisions and what have you, and that's I don't know of that many places that you could get that kind of clearance within the city limits. Are there, do you know of any, Larry, where it would even apply?
Isn't 100 acres, I don't think, even if they sold it, and the Scobie Farm,
It has to be 20.
please.
20 acres.
Well, it's zoned agricultural. Scobie Farm, maybe, I'm not even sure.
Star
what it's
Hill, Wetland, the property across from Busy Bee, that's 43 acres.
on. Yeah, like I said, it's-
Yeah, Sydney Street.
there's a half a dozen maybe.
So they're there.
And I think we'll see a lot more warehouses coming to Nelson County. Like I told you, I've been doing a lot of research on it, and with the federal lawsuit pending in Louisville against Heaven Hill and stuff, they're going to be forced out of Louisville if they lose that case. And they're going to be forced out to us. And that's why they're building 7 warehouses out there at Top Street, is to have a place to go. And if we do this 20 acres, they're going to come closer to the city to get the utilities and so forth, and we're going to have a Maple Hill all over Bardstown.
Just a second.
Go ahead.
I was wondering if our attorney has any opinions on that. I would hate to throw you a curveball.
That's all right. given my background.
But he can't tell you how to vote.
I understand, but he's been with planning, zoning.
It looks like to me that it's aimed at the county primarily. I think it is limited amount of applicability in the city of Bardstown. I'd asked Jan if practically, if there was any real area that it would be used inside the city limits of Bardstown. She said no. Of course, the fear always would be that they would do it just outside of the city limits on a property that would be either subject to annexation or would block annexation. In other words, they would go just outside the city limits and do it. But if the county passes it and we don't, that's still a possibility. So, I don't think the county has, this is aimed at the county primarily, and the county fiscal court has tabled it because they have some concerns. So,
If I may say something, Bill and I sat on the joint committee that looked at this, and just what you said, it's really for the county, it's for the agricultural, but since a recommendation for an ordinance change, it goes to all the legislative bodies automatically. I mean, it's not like they're recommending that we do it. It's just, it's passed to us to make the decision. I'm not saying that, so we have to think in those terms. It's really, from what our discussion, it's really for the county, for agricultural out of the county, not in the city. But we have the opportunity to vote on it.
Yeah, and I think if you do, I think it would give our opinion and maybe send it to the county judge or the magistrates, here's our opinion.
And just so that you all are aware that your action it doesn't have to be approved unanimously throughout the county to go in effect everywhere. Each jurisdiction can have, it's not uncommon in the regulations to say in effect only in the city of Bardstown or in effect only in Nelson County.
Maybe we need to table this. If we table this, what's the stipulation on the table, attorney? When will we have to make a decision if we...
You can table it actually indefinitely, I suppose.
You have to withdraw your motions.
And Mayor, in light of the concerns expressed by some of the council members, I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Councilman Copeland, you withdraw your second? Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we table B 2016. Sorry.
Can someone else, if they want to, bring up the motion? If so, and I'm just trying to get the rules right. If somebody else on the council doesn't want to table it, then you can make a motion. I'm just trying to bring
The other thing, and just to be clear, the table, you can table this, but after a certain amount of time, and I'd have to actually look into the statute, but there's a certain amount of time that after which the recommendation, and I believe that the planning commission probably made a recommendation on this. I don't know.
They did.
Yeah, to approve?
Yes.
Yeah, that recommendation would become final if you all don't take action. So after so many days, I think it's 60 or 90
I think it's
days.
60 days, if I'm not mistaken.
So when I say table indefinitely, you don't have to bring it up at the next
Sure.
meeting, but after 60 days,
Right, automatically. So I
it would
understand.
automatically become.
We've already agreed that this has no bearing really upon the city, that we're only expressing an opinion to the magistrates, whether we agree with this decision or not. It's going to go forward with or without it, pretty much. We can't stop it.
You can stop it in the city.
Right.
by voting, you can stop it in the city.
So if we take, I didn't realize that. I thought if we didn't even bring it up for a vote, then, okay, so we have to vote.
Yes.
Well, if I may, I don't want to step on your motion, but if it were I would make the motion to not approve the recommendation.
Which would be different than my motion, which I withdraw.
Okay, well then, in that case,
So do you want to make a motion?
then I make the motion that we, what's the term?
Deny.
Deny, thank you, the recommendation of the Planning Commission on ordinance number B 2016-08.
Second that motion.
Have
Yeah,
a
more
first,
discussion?
have a first and a second. Do I have more discussion? Okay. Okay. Motion's on the floor by Councilman Hagan to deny the B 2016-08, and I will take an individual vote, and I will start with Ms. Copeland.
If you want to deny, you vote for the motion. I know this will get a little confusing, so
So if you want to deny it, say yes.
that's true.
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Good.
Now, just to be-
Motion is denied.
And let me explain to you something here. There was a second, and unfortunately, they were grouped together, but
Right.
there's a second, that retail complex B5 was denied also because they were grouped together.
Right.
So what'll have to happen is they'll need to bring that back to you all separately for approval.
Would you like for me to have that ordinance ready for next meeting?
I think technically they'll need to have another hearing on it. I think they'll need to,
They will.
yes.
Planning and zoning,
I
okay.
think technically they will, and I will defer to Mike Cohen on that, but I
Okay.
think that they'll have to.
But you'll let me know, okay.
Yes.
Okay. B 2016-08 it fails 6-0. Thank you, guys. Reports from staff and committees, electric cable meeting that was on 7/12/2016. Bobby?
Well, we hit some of the areas of it at the last meeting, and I was hoping the minutes would have been ready for everyone to review, but they have not been turned back into me yet, so
Okay.
if you'd like to wait for the minutes, we can put it on till the next meeting, okay? I apologize for that. I had gotten this. Bill wants to bring up his. I got it right here.
All right, on the reports and staff committees, several weeks ago, I guess, we talked about Councilman Hagan wanted the finance committee, kind of a long-range 4-year plan. I think that the police department went, not the police, but the fire department went a whole lot further out, which is good, but you should have that. And I'll let you guys discuss that.
It is on the agenda for the working session next week as well.
So if you want to discuss it now, you can just pass it on to a working session.
Working session's fine with me.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that.
I agree, we need to discuss this at a work session, it's time consuming on this.
Let's go to number 10, unfinished business.
I think Mr. Duncan.
I'm sorry. Councilman Butler, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And we had a police safety committee meeting this afternoon, and even though we don't have the minutes available, a lot of pertinent information needs to come back to the council. First thing on the agenda was the body cams. The police department came to us and advised the mayor that the body cams are failing. They're breaking, they're not holding battery charge up but 4 hours, and on 12 hours, it was a hasty purchase without any research done, and now we're paying for it, even though it was grant money. And the recording system and storage system is unacceptable. We've already had 2 court cases, one that was suppressed by Judge Sims, and he sent a recommendation. Pretty much, to me, it was a warning that we need to fix this problem, that it's not acceptable, and I respect Judge Sims' decision. The chief has looked into a purchase of Taser Corporation, and we, at the committee, with a unanimous decision, voted to suspend the use of the cameras until we can get a new system in place. We're looking at $65,000 to upgrade with Taser on a 5-year contract to bring it up to where it's acceptable. And to me, I think it was a unanimous decision that it'd be irresponsible to proceed using them and not storing them properly. So we discontinued. Mayor's going to do a directive tomorrow to stop it until we can get this problem resolved. So we'll come back to the council with a recommendation once the chief does research and finds a good system that we can go to, and then we'll have to find the money for it. Also, the cruisers, we were about 1,800 above what has cost us the last 3 years, which is a really good saving, I think. The way I look at the numbers, with no increase on purchase with better equipment. I think they did an excellent job of going with the state contracts and state prices and doing that. Another thing came up was the interlocal agreement between, for the use of the Bardstown Flex Team, and this does not reflect any, that we do not want to support the Sheriff's Department or any other agency, the Greater Hardin County Drug Task Force. We do want to support them, but since the Mills County Sheriff's Department withdrew any support or people into the Flex Team in April, it puts the city into a precarious situation that we need a standard operating procedure for when we utilize the Bardstown Flex Team out in the county or with other agencies. There's nothing in place to direct us on when we call out, who's in charge, what the guidelines when we're used and so forth, and where the responsibility falls for the city. We have to maintain a Flex Team. In my mind, I was one of the founding members of it. But when you have all the schools, all the high schools, city and county, both within the city limits, it'd be a foolish thing not to maintain our Flex Team. You can't depend on the state with a 2 and 3 hour response team. So pretty much that was just we need clarification of some type of agreement with the county and the Hardin County Drug Task Force for the use of the Bardstown City Flex Team.
Yes, Councilman Liddy.
Make a comment. I'm gonna say it to me. I support the body cameras because, in my opinion, if the police officer is properly trained before he put that body camera on. And also, I had some concerns of this suspension in the middle of court cases. And we already have some court cases, and there's probably going to be some more court cases. That was my concern. And I think the city need to do the research, as many police departments use this body camera. And I think we need to do a research because there's probably some products out there, although we might have got some bad products, I don't know all the details of whether the officer was fully trained, but the police department who has them, and really they will pay for themselves for liability aspect. And I think the city need to do the research of the police department, and maybe they may have some products, and maybe have one they don't have no problem with. I've never heard of anyone having a problem. I didn't realize the Bardstown having a problem. So anyway, I do support it. I mean, let me back up. Subcommittees cannot make a decision. They have to make a recommendation to the council. The council will have to approve this suspension, not the subcommittee. I voted no, and the vote was 1-1. No, the vote was 1-1, and the chairperson broke the tie. I have some concerns of, and I asked the city attorney that I had some concerns of making this suspension in the middle of court cases. And I kind of called on our city attorney.
Well, I didn't know that was your concern. Let me address that. Any video that's been taken
Right.
on the body cams
Right.
is still evidence, still is public record. It
I know.
can't be destroyed.
Right.
So what they're talking about is not creating any more video.
Right.
So any court cases that are out there, any pending criminal matter where there's body cam stuff, if the prosecutors want that information, it should be accessible to them, and anything that there's a request of existing body cam video for like an open records request, it should be made available. What this would mean is that there wouldn't be any more video taken, at least during the pendency of trying to get this situation resolved.
But it would be up to the city council, not subcommittee, to make that decision, right?
I don't think so.
Well, the recommendation, subcommittee cannot make a decision. It had to be a recommendation to the council.
The council didn't vote to actually do the
We voted for the body cam.
You voted to purchase the cameras.
Yeah, it was, in terms of, and my concern, and I'll restate this for the entire council, is that back last year when the issue of body cams came up, the mayor asked that I do some research, and I found a Department of Justice report that was about 90 pages long about procedures and policies and things to do and things don't to do, and then how you handle it, and when is it recorded, when do you record, when do you not record, because there's privacy concerns. You know, when you go into someone's house, you know, I can't, if they come to your house to investigate a burglary or something, I shouldn't be able to get the body cam video of your house and case it by way of body cam video. There's a bunch of concerns. So I provided that. The mayor said, well, can you look into this and see what we need to be doing here? I got that report and printed it off for the mayor and for the police chief, and when I brought it over to City Hall, the mayor informed me that we had videos, we had body cams, that they were in place. And so we don't really have the policy. I think that that's, to me, is a concern. And then the other concern is that, you know, it's not, and what the judge admonished in this case was that the video was not reasonably available. In this particular case, there was a reference to body cam video, and the prosecutor and the officer said, we don't have it. And the defense attorney said, well, I do. And the defense attorney had found it through a district court case. So it's difficult to find, it's difficult to sort through. And so what I would suggest is if there's a new system put into place, that be a primary consideration, and that you know, the accessibility and chain of custody and for criminal cases be a primary consideration, that the accessibility for response to open records requests be a priority, so that we don't have a situation where we have something that we can't manage. And I think that is the primary concern. The suspension of the body cams is an operational aspect of the police department. I think that technically, legally, that the police chief could suspend it. The mayor could overrule that because the mayor is the chief executive officer. If at some point you all wanted to mandate by ordinance that there be body cams, I suppose you could do that by ordinance, but there's not an ordinance in place now that mandates that there be body cams or body cam video. So I think that and it was my suggestion when this issue came up that the issue be brought before the safety committee, because it is a day-to-day aspect of the operation of the police department, and that the safety committee should be made aware of it.
So, appears to me you say it will be up to the chief to make a decision.
The mayor.
Well, the chief could make a decision and he could be overruled by the mayor, yes. And hopefully they would be working together on whatever decision would be made.
So anyway, my concern was in the middle of a court case, and there won't be more court cases, we making a suspension, and I'm not going to turn in, some turning, but they will eat you up on that. So anyway, that's what my concern was.
Councilman Liddy, if they turned them off tonight, those videos that they have videoed all day today will be stored how they're being stored right now. You will not lose that. It would be from that point forward that they are discontinued, is there will be no videos. So if somebody wanted to go back and say that an officer arrested them at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 o'clock today, they could go back into that computer and hunt for hours for that video, and hopefully they would find it, and it would still be there. The storage is there. It's just the problem that it is not chronologically stored in order as Judge Sims and the circuit court judges and the county and the Commonwealth attorney wants it. So you're not gonna lose any data up to the point to when the cameras do not exist anymore. You're not gonna lose that data. You're not gonna lose it. It's still there. So I don't know how, I hope it's clearer than mud, but that's the
Well,
best I
it's
can
still not
describe it.
clear. It should be some, we don't have Chief McCutcheon to ask him questions because he's the one that brought it before the safety committee.
No, but we got a chief back there that can explain it as well as anyone.
I did not indicate that. I'm just saying, Chief McCutcheon, he was the one that brought it for the safety committee. I did not say, I'm quite sure he can answer the question. But what my question is, was there any guarantee on those body cameras? If it's not functioning properly, possibly, was there any, do you know for sure, was there any guarantee on those body cameras? We haven't had them that long.
We have what was the warranty on?
Warranty's 182 days out of warranty.
182 days?
Out of warranty.
So I would say, I'm just estimating it's probably a 6-month warranty, but now the cameras that we have are 182 days out of warranty. So for 6
Oh,
months.
they already out of warranty?
Yes, sir, for 6 months, over 6 months now, they've not been under warranty.
I can't not fix the cameras.
Chief, he said that they weren't functioning. I don't know if that means that they're not recording or they're falling off or what exactly is happening.
They got numerous buttons on them. In some cases, the buttons are just wearing out from repeated use. In some cases, they are not recording. In some cases, they are failing to download. So there's either a connection issue there with physical connection issue with the body camera, or maybe a software electronic issue in there. But they've been used extensively. As I form the safety committee meeting, these officers activate these during any citizen interaction, and they work 12-hour shifts. So you can imagine how much they've been activated and used over the past year, and compare that to electronics you have in your home. If you use them as much, you know, what is their life expectancy? Nothing seems to be made to last very long. These cameras are no exception, and they are failing, and we have a few left, but we are going to quickly come into a situation where we don't have any spares to issue officers on the street, and we're going to have a situation where officers have them and some officers don't, and I think that's going to create a problem as well.
So when are you going to, or when are you planning on suspending the use of the body cam?
I'm going to consult with Lieutenant Gillock tonight, and we'll make a recommendation to the mayor and see what his recommendation is.
Are there any companies that work on the body cams?
Not that I'm aware of, just the company itself that designed
The company that makes them, works on them?
it. That specific company which is named Body Cam works on Body Cam.
Have we did any research on the cost of that? Because these body cams were purchased with grant money.
Mhm.
When were we aware that they weren't recording? When was the first report? And when did we report to the safety committee that we were having issues, repetitive, issues that they weren't recording?
It come to my attention, an officer brought one to me and said the buttons quit working. The technician that's over the camera system also brought me 2 other ones that said they weren't downloading. So I contacted Body Cam Repairs to send them off to get them repaired. And that's when they informed me that all of them that we bought were well past the warranty that they had on them, which was over 182 days at the time. And that was probably about 2 weeks ago.
So the technician reported it when?
Probably 2 weeks ago. He
And that's
told
the
me
first time that he recognized it though? Or did he have complaints before then?
that I can't speak for him. I don't know. I know from my knowledge in using them, there's always been some kind of issue since day one. They were able to work some of the technical issues out, change a cable, change a computer or something.
Is there a log that's kept for the body cams?
There is a camera, the inventory or the evidence?
Like, a log that's kept, say military, for every piece of equipment we have, there's a log kept for mechanical issues. So is there a log that's kept for mechanical issues for the body cams? Because if it was 2 weeks ago, but you're saying from day one there were issues, we could have caught this a long time ago and met the 6-month warranty.
I agree with you on that, but I was not in the position I am now to take care of that issue then.
Okay. I have another question. Not for you. Councilman Buckman, you said taser, upgrade with taser. What does that mean? I didn't understand that.
Taser company that we use the
Okay.
taser from, they branched off into the body cams.
Gotcha.
That's who they've been consulting with about purchasing.
Okay.
The
All right.
company itself is called Axon, AXO. It's a branch off of the Taser Corporation itself.
Okay. All right. I was like, taser? All right. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Councilman Buckman, you got any more?
Yeah, one last thing on the procedure was turned over to Larry for the procedure on hiring the new police chief.
We have talked to the Kentucky League of Cities. They actually have a kind of an extensive process for selecting police chiefs. It's an important position, as you all know. And so I contacted them and came up with this about an 8-step process. First of all, there will be a committee that will oversee the process, and that committee will have 2 councilmen, 1 Bardstown police officer, 1 local attorney, 1 citizen member, myself as the HR director, and a police professional from another department. So that first step would be to contact those people, and most everyone has already agreed to be on the committee. We're still looking for a police professional from another department. The 2 councilmen recommended by the mayor were Councilman Buckman and Councilman Williams. Police officer will either be Brad Gillick or Mackenzie Mattingly. The local attorney will be Mike Cohen, citizen member Teresa Maddox, and as I say, we're still looking for a police professional that has actually participated and run this sort of process before in other communities. So the next step is we'll design an advertisement this is something that the League of Cities gave me some samples and they had, and I hadn't really thought of this, but it seems like a really good idea. In addition, of course, the advertisements we put in the Courier Journal and the Lexington Herald Leader will be fairly short because of expense, but then the other things that we put online can be more extensive and give information about the community and the department so that the prospective candidates will know what they're getting into. They'll know what kind of community we are, and they can decide whether they want to apply for the job or not. It will also explain what qualifications we're looking for and what sorts of jobs they'll be doing, and the council's role and the mayor's role and so forth in the city. And because communities are quite different in that regard, especially if you get candidates from out of state. So after that, we'll advertise, and again, I got some of these publications from the League of Cities. Of course, we'll be in the local media, Louisville and Lexington, and then also the KLC, the Kentucky League of Cities, has a website and a publication where you can advertise in. There are websites from that we'll contact, and with the Kentucky Chief of Police Association as well as the Fraternal Order of Police. They have a lot of contacts as well, and naturally we'll put it on our own websites and do it that way. Step 4 will be to collect the applications over a period of time, sort through those and find out which one meet the minimum criteria, forward those on to the committee, and the committee will meet and select approximately 10, just depends on what kind of applications we get, but try to keep it to about 10 candidates for interviews. We'll conduct those interviews and select 3 finalists that will be forwarded on to the mayor. And the mayor will take those 3 finalists, interview them, make a selection. We'll then do an extensive background check on that one individual. And if that all comes back okay, then we'll forward it on to the council for confirmation. Because the statute says that the mayor shall appoint the police chief with the approval of the council. So the council has a role in this as well, the full council. So, but it's also suggested by the League of Cities, and I agree that this process be run by the city council for your approval, so that you understand and concur with the process we're going to undertake, because ultimately this person will be coming to you for approval.
Will the city council approve what you indicated that process?
No, that you wouldn't have to, but I want you to be aware of it, and I think it's important that you are aware, and that you know, if there are some problems with it, we could certainly discuss it further. So,
I think it's good, it's being transparent, that you know the process. I think it's a good process. It's not nothing that we have jumped into and done a knee-jerk situation, nor will the hiring will be done quickly. It will be methodically, it will be very researched, and you'll get the information as I get it.
That's a good process. I indicated to the state committee. I have been involved in the past on some committees of hiring 2 police chiefs, so I'm familiar with that. That's a good process.
Thank you, Councilman Liddy. I appreciate that comment. We're going to skip number 10.
Mayor, if
Oh,
I
sorry.
could, I'd like to weigh in, I don't normally, but in terms of the E911 agreement at the working session, what I hope to do is to have a couple of things. One is there's going to be an amendment proposed and probably considered at the first regular meeting in August concerning it's Chapter 97 E911 or 911 emergency telephone service, which refers to a bunch of outdated information that'll need to be amended in terms of fees and process and agreements and things, and then also to have a proposed interlocal agreement for your alls that I will be explaining to you all, you know, my position and why I wrote what I wrote, and for your all's consideration and, you know, for your comment and approval or, you know, send me back to the drawing board, whichever. And so that, I hope to have that, or will have that for the working session next week.
Tim, are you going to send that to us before the working session?
No, I'm not going to, because I want to be able to tell you why I wrote what I wrote before somebody tells me why I shouldn't have written what I've written.
I wish we could get it in time. We could read it, and sometime when you come to meeting, time to. It's hard, you know, to read over all that language in there.
You won't need to. I'm going to explain
sleep
to
on it, and we'll probably have more input.
I'm going to explain it to you because I don't want to. In the past, what's happened is that, in my opinion, quite frankly, the county magistrates and judge have gotten that information and have gotten to have their say before. And before I will have my say, and I just want to tell you, and then they can comment on it how they want. But instead of you all having to read through there, I've already started preparing to discuss it with you and explain to you. It won't be that difficult. But that is the way I want to proceed.
And I agree with that. So this, anybody, is anyone else? All right, so we're going to skip number 10, and we're going to go to new business, the municipal order M 2016-10, the tax assessment moratorium for 207 North 4th Street.
A municipal order accepting the application for a tax assessment moratorium certificate for the property located at 207 North 4th Street, Bardstown, Kentucky. Be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Bardstown, Kentucky, Section 1, that the application for assessment moratorium certificate for the property located at 207 North 4th Street, Bardstown, Kentucky, is hereby accepted, and further expressing the city's intent to grant an assessment moratorium to the owner of said property upon compliance with the city's property assessment and reassessment moratoriums as defined in KRS Chapter 99.595 et seq. Section 2, that this order shall take effect and be in full force when passed and recorded according to law.
How long does that tax moratorium last?
It lasts for 5 years.
It doesn't say that, but that's,
Well, it is implied in the
In the
city's
mor-
intent, right? But it is a
Right.
5-year moratorium.
I thought it was, but I didn't see
Beginning
it.
the next tax year, so 2017.
Who is,
This is,
the property is?
the Hay, it's right behind Haydorn's.
Oh, that's the little white house behind Haydorn's that was just sold at auction.
It was purchased by Mr. Hagan.
Yes.
well, if that be the case, I'll make a motion that we approve municipal order number M 2016-10.
Do I have a second? Second by, which one do y'all want? All right, second by Councilman Buckman. Discussion? All in favor? Okay, 6-0. Motion's adopted. Thank you, guys. Let's move on to number 12, City Council comments. Councilman Simpson, you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Councilman Buckman? Mr. Williams?
No, sir.
Mr. Hagan? Mr. Lydian? Councilman Copeland?
Yes. This is back in reference to the body cams. I am so gracious and thankful that you guys brought this to the council's attention. I hope that we can expeditiously rectify this. I do believe that this is the right thing to do to suspend this. I hope that we can get these fixed because I do believe that body cams are very useful out on the streets because of things that happen. And they're for your protection as well. And of everything that's going on, we need to protect our city police and the sheriff alike. And speaking in reference to that, with everything that's happened within our nation, there is a call for unity, and especially in our hometown. And so I am working as a councilwoman with the PATH Coalition. I'm sure that many of you know what the PATH Coalition is. And I've spoken with the Assistant Chief and with the Lieutenant in reference to having an open conversation, open forum with the community, with policing, an open dialogue, demonstrations, their rights, compliance, because that's a major confusion of people not complying when they're stopped or asked a question. And also diversity and interactive sessions. And the reason why I'm bringing that in the council meeting, because it starts at local government. It doesn't start from the top, it starts at the bottom. And as a councilman, you sometimes have to do something that you don't want to do. And so I'm telling you about this because it will be in September. And I know that you guys will be super busy. It'll be time for you to campaign. But if you can take a little time, I'll give you the date and I will give you an invitation. I also send one to the mayor. But there'll be a session where there'll be a panel of experts. So there'll be a panel of experts from here, from the city of Louisville and nearby counties. And there'll be a time where they can have questions. They'll have an interaction session, and they'll have a demonstration session. So the community can be on one accord, but also they'll get to know our city police. And I think that's important right now because we have new leadership. So I just wanted to let you know about that. I know that our neighboring community is having a unity for police. And so I'm working to do that as well. I'm going to talk to our assistant chief and try to work something out like that. But it's really time for local government to step up and really get with the community and work with our people and let them know that we're here for them. Because what happened in other states and other cities can happen anywhere, and we're not exempt. So I hope this doesn't amuse too many people here, but I think this is a real issue. So thank you for your time.
Mayor, I guess, Barbara reminded me, Randy, did you want to tell us about the blood drive you have coming up?
Yeah, Scott, they're having a kind of a competition between the police department and us, see who can collect the most amount of blood. It's always a severe need to support the cause. I apologize, I don't remember the date off the top of my head.
It's this Saturday.
It's this coming Saturday.
The 30th, at the Bardstown Plaza.
Correct.
And that's right in front of the police department.
I've already signed up.
Yeah. How many gallons are you up to?
I'm sorry?
How many gallons are you up to now?
50.
Are you serving cookies and orange juice or something? Or?
There'll be something there.
Any other council members? I will say about the camera system, and I agree with Councilman Buckman. I think it is a good issue, but that camera system was bought at haste out of a coupon book, if you want to call it that, and I have ordered Lieutenant Gillick and Chief Mackenzie Mattingly that do not do this in a hastily manner. Do a very technical research, because I don't want to go through this again and just to say that we're the first police department in the state of Kentucky to get cameras. That's wrong. We're not going to do that this time. It's not going to happen. So you can expect a price tag of this in excess of $65,000 plus, just roughly. So, Chief, you said I think you mentioned earlier to me that you wanted to mention something.
Yes, as you know, we still have 2 vacancies on the police department. We're hoping to afford some opportunities to local individuals who are not already police trained to apply and give them the opportunity to become police officers. As part of that, we have put together a testing process. This is the first time the department's ever done anything like this. And we're going to have a physical fitness test on September 10th at 8 a.m. That's going to be at Nelson County High School at 8 o'clock in the morning. So we're putting out an invitation to the council. Welcome to come up there and see all the applicants. We're getting probably 3 or 4 applications a week to come up there and watch them take the physical fitness test. It'll be the same standards that they would have to meet to attend the academy in Richmond. And upon completion of that, in the afternoon, they're going to return probably to the police department of the Kovac building, where we're going to administer a written test that we're going to order from the Kentucky Association of Chiefs of Police. And then hopefully develop a working list, a stronger recruitment process. We're pretty excited about it. The department has never done anything like this. We've always been behind the curve on recruitment, and this is one thing we're doing to try to get out ahead of that, is to have a working list of individuals that are qualified to be police officers here in Bardstown. So I invite y'all to come out September 10th, 8 o'clock at Nelson County High School. Thank you.
I have a question. Go ahead.
Well, do we drug test these individuals that are?
This is just a very preliminary process that to advance in the process, they go to Richmond and they have to take a battery test. They would have to take this physical fitness test again, a very involved suitability, psychological suitability screening, a polygraph test, and a drug test. So they actually have to get into those advanced stages of that employment process, they actually have to have a formal, a conditional offer of employment. So this is due, we have a lot of applications to come up with a working list to kind of delve into a little bit further with interviews and stuff like that. But if they made it through that process, at some point, yes, they are required by the state to have a drug test.
And also the city, trust me, will be the direction. Yes, Ms. Cole?
With the fitness test, do you guys do yearly fitness tests as well? Is that something that the Bardstown PD does?
No, ma'am, but it's something we're in preliminary discussions about, something we'd like to do. There's been new legislation that's been implemented that encourages municipalities to develop programs to encourage their EMS, fire, police officers to implement a fitness program. And the mayor has expressed his interest in it. And so that's something Lieutenant Gillick and I believe in. We'd like to implement. We think it's important that the police officers be in good physical condition. So not yet, but hopefully in the future.
And of the applicants that have applied, have any women applied?
Yes, ma'am. Of course, we only have one female officer, and
Yes.
we'd certainly like to have more female officers as well, more minority officers.
Keeping up with state legislation, I think they just approved, it's KRS, is it 384? House Bill 384?
Yes, sir.
That the mayor can invoke a physical fitness on all emergency services, so that means police and fire. I discussed this several weeks ago with both of those, and we are pretty enhanced about it. And I think it should be one of those deals, since heart attacks happen more predominantly in fire and police because of the stress. So we're looking into that, and we'll probably impose that quality.
Well, I absolutely agree with you, Mayor.
Shocking. But
I'm definitely glad I retired.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we're all about health, and as we come to it, I'll give it to you. But before I do, I want to get the details worked out, and then I'll have answers to all your questions. But we are looking into that. I have to hand it. I want to give Chief Mattingly a standing ovation.
Pat on the back.
Pat on the back, whatever it takes. There was a pursuit. Well, it was a naked lady red car, and we had city units that were going out, and there were multiple city units going out, and I was listening to it, and I was waiting for the chief to call the units back into the city, and lo and behold, is when I was thinking it, he was saying it, and I want to commend you on the job of controlling that pursuit for our city units. When our units were drawn back, of course, there were 6 or 7 sheriff's units. They were all feeling like a snake, and then it went outside the county, and when it hit Bullitt County kind of took over. Commend the officer for doing that. It was textbook, both of you guys. I think you all are doing a tremendous job. To say that, the sergeants have, and I'm just going to give you an update of the police department, and I'll do that later with the fire department. The sergeants, they're doing car inspections, never been done before. These cars are clean, getting cleaner. Some needs a little bit more work. You open the trunk, every car has what one car should have. That way, if one officer gets caught behind another officer's car, and he knows where everything is in that car, that's the way it should be. They're working diligently. I know Lieutenant Gillick is really working into that. They are going to come to me. They're going to need extra funds for, I think each car should have fire extinguishers in cases of emergencies, because they arrive before anyone does. There's going to be other expenses. Each car should have stop sticks, so we're going to have to give a little extra funds there where they can equip these cars to be real, true police cars for a change, and to do their job. But they're going to get that list together, and they're going to request it. So anyway, that's all I got to say. And I'll give a report of how there's more changes that's happened in the police department than that, and he's working. That's just a small taste, but he's working on a detailed report. The chief has got his, and I'll try to give both of those at the next council meeting and give an update of how it's changed from what it was. So All right, let's move on to number 13, cemetery deeds, Ronald Scott Greer, Ronnie and Linda Weeks, Ken and Becky Visler, Bruce Greer, Richard Greer, and Ronald Greer. I'll adopt this motion by unanimous consent and say everyone is okay. Looks like it is. Motion's adopted. Announcement, we got 2016 Kentucky League Cities Conference Expo, October 4th to the 7th, 2016 in Lexington. And number 15, if there's no other things, I'll...
Well, just one thing.
Oh, I'm
In
sorry.
regard to the KLC, that as more information comes out, we'll make sure it gets dispersed to you all so that you can let us know about your registrations and if you want to attend any of the conference. It'll come out as it gets closer.
If there's no objection, I will adopt by unanimous consent on the adjournment of this meeting.
Thank you.
Adjournment.
Okay.